Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. You're joining me here in another build video. So today I'm going to be building this two-story red brick home in the world of Windenburg. So Windenburg came with the Get Together pack. This particular lot is in like the old world setting of the town. You can tell by the surroundings in this video, like you've got the cobblestone and all those sorts of things, like the old Tudor style home next to this lot. This world has so much character. My last video was in Brindleton Bay. If you haven't seen that one, check it out. That would probably be my favorite world. This is a close second. This world is really beautiful. There's so many types of public lots that we hadn't seen when this world came out in The Sims, with the ancient ruins and a few other things around town as well. This world, when this pack came out, it also introduced the club function in The Sims 4, which was really new to the game as well, it being one of the original packs for the game. But yeah, so this world is in that main center of town. It's a bit more of a, I guess, a traditional build. I thought, sticking with the theme of being in the center of town. I mean, this world is a bit funny in that way. There's like, it's a bit odd. There's that main house with like the gym bros and like the partiers, but it's still like quite an odd home. But I think with this particular house, it'd probably be more of a traditional family, like what we see in like the countryside part of this world. I can't remember any of the families' names off the top of my head, but if you have the pack, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have the pack, it's probably not that big of a deal. Um, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite packs from the game. So you can see here, I'm just laying out the walls, the roofing, all those basic things before we get started. I really enjoyed doing this build. It was different to what I normally do. I used this reference picture that I found on my Instagram. I always keep a folder on Instagram. I have for years of floor plans, facade inspo, all that sort of stuff. And so I was looking through there the other day and found this picture. I'll pop it up on the screen. And yeah, it inspired me for the whole build. Here I'm doing the roofing. I really struggled to find the right, I guess, red brown color in the roofing. It's just one of those things with the Sims 4, I guess. Everything was just a bit too bright, but I settled on this one. Look, I'm happy with it. It does the job. So that's all we can ask for. And then, yeah, so I tried to keep this build to just base game and Get Together, because of, being in the Windenburg world. I did use one piece of custom content, and look, it's not essential. When I was building the house, I just had to do it. We'll talk about that all later when it shows up, but there's just some things where, because I was building it, I'm going to play in this house. I wanted to use it, but if you downloaded this house, you could very easily replace that piece if you wanted to. Like, it is not essential to the build in any way. It was just, I loved it. But yeah, other than that, the rest of the build is base game and Get Together. So perfect, because everyone has base game. That's, how this works. And then Get Together because we're in Windenburg. I just wanted to feel like it was still in the style, to a certain extent, of the rest of the world, because there are some other red brick buildings throughout here as well. I didn't really want to go with that classic Tudor style, like in the house in the lot next to it. It's just not really my thing. Whereas I love it. I love a brick house. So yeah, anyway, here I'm getting into placing the floor plan. I had a bit of an idea as to how I wanted this to look before, like, I started laying it out, and that definitely helped. So in the top, you can see I'm making that more of the formal lounge, and then we've got this beautiful entry. I'm gonna put the staircase here, kitchen to the side where I'm placing walls now, all that sort of thing, and then the bedrooms are all upstairs. But where I've placed a study, if you have a larger family, you could absolutely make that a fourth bedroom. With a little bit of shuffling around, it would not be a problem at all. It would absolutely function. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this house is 3 bedrooms. It's also got 3 bathrooms. Oh, I guess you'd probably call it 2.5 because the third bathroom doesn't actually have a shower or a bath or anything like that. But more than enough. It just turned out that I could fit it in. And I was like, well, who doesn't want an extra bathroom? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, so here, this is where I'm placing this the staircase. So you can see you walk into this beautiful grand staircase. I really, really enjoyed doing this build. It's not how I would normally build, but yeah, it was really fun. I made use of the platform tools here to just block out a few areas that look, what was I gonna fit there? I was just like, we'll block it out. It makes it to fit easier. Maybe, in real life it'd be like a cupboard or something like that, but it's The Sims. They don't need that level of storage. Um, so yeah, we've got the master bedroom. The master bedroom has an ensuite because it's The Sims. It'd be rude not to. And then the two, I guess they'd be kids' bedroom. But I laid them out as if they were, I guess, teens. But they share like a Jack and Jill bathroom, so I thought that was really nice. So, as I was laying out this floor plan, because it was more like a traditional style home, there are like hallways and sitting rooms and that sort of thing. I didn't, I guess you don't really see those in, I guess our modern houses that we live in when we're renting and all that sort of stuff. So I did struggle a little bit to try and work out how to furnish those, which you'll see a bit later on. I left one of the hallways just empty because I was like, no one sits in a hallway. If I'm playing The Sims, I'm not going to have them sit in the hallway, but I thought it added to the character that was the house. And I still wanted it to feel like a bit of more of like like a traditional home. I kept, I tried to keep, I guess, what it would look like original, not like really old, but with the wallpapers and stuff, I didn't go for what I would tend to do. I really tried to keep on theme. I think because I restricted it to just get together and base game. When I'm just playing, in my usual save files, I use whatever packs I want with custom content all the time. So this was, I guess, a bit more tricky in terms of, like, I restricted myself. But like overall, like, yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out, and I think the challenge of you know only using certain packs and keeping to a certain style, it was either going to be super modern because of what comes in base game and get together, or on that more traditional side. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So out the back where I just placed that sliding door, which obviously looks different to the rest of the style of the house, I actually turned this into a greenhouse, which I absolutely loved. I'll talk through more of it when I'm, putting it all together, but I looked at this as being more of like an extension to the house. Not something that, came with it originally, something, the owners added or something like that. I kind of think of this town as being quite European, and when I think of, like England and all those other places, I guess it rains a lot, not here in Australia. It's pretty sunny here. So I thought, they probably want a greenhouse for their gardening. Um, so yeah, I added that in. I used one of the glass ceiling roof tiles here as well. I kept it a bit decorative to try and still, keep in line with the type of build, but also, I didn't want it to just be like pure glass either. I wanted it to have a bit of character. But yeah, so that's why this part of the build looks a little bit different. It's because I'm looking at it as more of a extension to the house. It has, those beautiful large windows rather than the older style windows throughout the rest of the house. I just wanted to bring in as much light as I could because, if we're gardening, the plants need some light. But yeah, we can talk about that a bit more later. Also, here, this is the piece of custom content that I used. So I ended up using a sliding door. I think it's from Hey Harry. I'll find it and I'll link it below if you want to download the packs. It's just the custom content that these guys do are just beautiful. When I was looking at it and I was thinking, if it was an extension of the build, if it was in my house, a beautiful sliding door that I could open and close would just be perfect for a greenhouse space. But you know, you can see that if you downloaded this build and you didn't have this custom content, you could absolutely put in another door. Like it's not it doesn't ruin the build. It was just because I will be playing with this game file. I just couldn't not use this door. I just think it works perfectly. But yeah, I'll link it down below if you guys want to download it so you can play with it here as well. Here, obviously, I'm putting the bricks on the outside of the house. I struggled a little bit. I ended up finding this, I guess you call it darker red brick. It just looked a bit more realistic, had a bit more texture to it, a bit more of that deep red. I didn't want like a, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. Almost looked like a Sims 3 red brick. And don't get me wrong, I love The Sims 3. It is I love it. I cannot talk bad about The Sims 3, but we know The Sims 4 looks better in terms of like the build and the textures and everything like that. So that's why I went with this brick. I just felt it was more realistic. And also with my inspo picture, I felt it just was what was going on more so. But I did struggle a bit. I went through a lot of different red bricks, and then there was other bricks that I thought I had, but then it's because I'm so used to playing with the packs because I restrict myself. So cut all that out. You don't want to see me going through and seeing 5, 6 different swatches of bricks. And then because this is in the middle of town, I wanted to restrict the landscaping as well because there's all this cobblestone around. You're not just gonna have a patch of lawn just in the middle of town. So I just added this small little backyard with the grass that's where they're gonna have a little bit of outdoor area, but it is in the middle of town, and if you have get together and you know the world, there's not really any grass. So I didn't want it to be like an eyesore and look like it didn't fit in the town either. And then I did a little bit of landscaping out the front, but I'll show you that when we do the walkthrough of the build. So here I ended up changing the fence because I didn't want to have that gap in between where you could see that really stark bright green compared to the stone. And it was another get together fence that I ended up using as well. The thing that really annoyed me with this build, which is another classic Sims thing, is the stones. So you have all this cobblestone throughout the whole town, but then in build mode, you don't have access to the same stone. And this is something that has happened in The Sims. The entire Sims 4, like I don't remember a time when I could access things that were in the world, if that makes sense. That you can use debug, but look, I couldn't really be bothered at the point when I was, doing those floors. I went through so many different tiles. I was just like, this is the closest grey, this is what we're using. But I guess I don't know if it's in debug. It probably is. It's similar when you're doing landscaping, when you want your trees and bushes and flowers and everything to be what is around in the world as well. You don't always have access to them in build and buy mode. So if you go to debug, you can place them as well. But look, I didn't bother with doing that on this build. I was happy to just make it look somewhat similar. You're probably not going to notice when you're playing. It was just because I spent so much time finding the right stone, it really annoyed me, but it always annoys me. So nothing particularly new there. So as you can see now, I'm going in to start furnishing, placing wallpaper floors. I love the flooring. If I was to build my own house, this would be the type of flooring I would have. I think it's beautiful. So I went with like the hardwood throughout the main house, and then carpet upstairs in the bedrooms, and then there was this older stone tile that you would have seen I used in the bathroom areas. And then so now we're getting onto furnishing. Tried to keep it in line with that really traditional feel as possible. Then I realized there's actually not that many choices for fireplaces. So I went with a bit more of a modern fireplace. I thought, you know what, the people who live here, if they've added the extension to the greenhouse, they've probably fixed a few things up in the house to be more modern, their style. I'm not too sure. So the more modern fireplace will get together in this room, but then in other spaces in the house, we've got the traditional fireplace. So you can see that they're just working through the house to make it their own, I suppose. But I did try to keep the furnishings to the most part in that older style. keep it in theme, like that beautiful chandelier in the entryway. The couches, it's quite formal, you know, that sort of thing. I really wanted to use the get together artwork, but it's so large and I just didn't think it fit with the rest of the build. So, you know, a lot of the decorative stuff I think I ended up pulling from base game, which is still fine. I mean, everyone has base game, so you know what it is. The other thing I really struggled with was rugs. You know, you get so spoiled for choice when you have more packs. But because again, I restricted myself, this is where it got a bit more challenging. But I used items that I never use, like those couches and armchairs. I don't think I've ever actually placed them. Or that lamp actually either. Either of the lamps, I never use any of it. So that was really fun for me. So yeah, now you can see this is where the office is. So like I mentioned earlier, you could definitely make this into a fourth bedroom. You could connect another door to that bathroom as well and make it a guest room or, you know, a fourth bedroom. Maybe you have an older sim, that sort of thing. You have the two kids upstairs with the parents, you know, if you're into that family gameplay. But yeah, for the purposes of this build, I thought, you know, one of the parents here is absolutely working from home. Um, they probably make a good amount of money, so they definitely have a home office. And then yeah, here I'm just trying to play around with using some of the older artworks just to play with the fact that it is an older home. Look, this family, hypothetically, because I always think of the family that lives in the home when I'm building it, it really helps me furnish it. They're probably an older family from this area. They've probably been in the area for generations. So, you know, we've got some historic photos just to add a bit of charm to the space. And then you can never forget your bookshelf because even though those are tiny books, your Sims can read from them. And it saves you from adding one of those huge bookshelves to the house because the bookshelves are huge. Like, I always struggle to fit them in because I never know where I have, you know, two, three tiles for a full bookcase, but those small books are lifesavers in that sense. So yeah, now we're doing the kitchen. Look, the kitchen is pretty modest. It's not huge, but I really like it. It's really cute. I end up changing the color of the cabinets here. I thought these were like a bit too. I don't know what the wood's called, but that was just too red with the rest of the house, like with the paneling and the flooring. So I changed it to be a bit darker. And I think it came out really nicely. And then you'll see in a sec, I expand this area a bit more to fit a large dining table for like a formal. I guess it's not really formal dining because it's in the kitchen, but you know, they could still host dinner parties because they're in the center of town. Who doesn't love going into town to their friend's house, having dinner, you know, that sort of vibe. These guys, I think, are entertainers as well. You know, they've got this beautiful house. Why would they not want their friends to come over? But yeah, so you know, just placing some decorative items. I also thought, you know, we got this cute little baked goods decor item with get together, and I use it all the time. So I obviously have to include it here as well. You know, there's a few items where you always use them in every build, and then it's funny because you forget which packs they're from. But then when I saw that this was from Get Together, I was like, thank God I can put it in my kitchen. And then yeah, over here I made a little, like, I guess it could be a bar space. I always struggle to use the bars in The Sims though. They take up a lot of space. The really big ones are too big in my opinion, and the really small ones are just always they're the small bar option, but they're still really hard to fit in. Like, you know, you need people to stand behind them, you need people to stand in front of them. Sometimes you can put them up to the wall, but then I struggle, you know, because you put bar stools to them, they have that lip. It's not like a flush cabinet. And then you can play with it to try and push it into the wall a bit, but it's still a lot of room. Anyway, so here I just decided to make like a make pretend bar sort of space, and I put some flowers on there, and you know, felt more in line with what a traditional home would have because you know you have like your plate cabinets and you know like all your display goods, but instead of having a cabinet, it was like a little built-in. So anyway, I never do that with my builds, but I guess because of what this build is, it just turned out that way, and I used it, and I was really happy. I thought it looked really cute. Anyway, now we're upstairs. I'm doing the master bathroom. Look, when it comes to the master bedroom and master bathroom of this build, at this point, I didn't really care. I don't know about you guys. I never put effort into my adult Sims. You know, as long as they have somewhere to sleep, my attention goes to like the kids and the teenagers because ultimately I love the family gameplay in The Sims, but I find the adults a bit boring, and then I get excited when they have kids because then it's a new generation. I put all my love and care into them, and then once they turn into an adult and start having like, babies and toddlers, I don't care about them anymore. Just look after the kids so I can play with another generation. So you can tell with the layout of this bedroom, it's just there's something not quite right about it, and I didn't care to fix it. I was like, you know what? Whatever. So it is what it is. It's a bit boring, but it's functional. The fact they don't have two bedside tables, I mean, come on, I could have done more, but the way I laid it out is the way I laid it out. If you don't like it, download the house and fix it. I don't mind. But I just didn't want to add any more extensions to give the room a bit more space, and I really wanted them to have two sinks in the ensuite. I guess just from like a realistic standpoint. I mean, I know the Sims don't really need two sinks, but you know, it's always nice to have two sinks in your master ensuite. Anyway, I'm getting a bit off track here. I'm doing the first of the two kids' bedrooms. I think this would probably be a teenager. One, they've got a double bed. Spoiled. I mean, I can't say that because I had a double bed growing up, but absolutely a teen bedroom. Then this one, look, it could either be a kid's or a teen's bedroom. I think this sim would be a bit more studious. Studious? Though I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but you know what I mean. They're into school. They're smart. um, I really loved that traditional desk that came with Get Together, but I didn't want to use it downstairs because I didn't want to block it from having the two seats looking at the desk as well, but it fit perfectly here in that little nook. So I was really glad I got to use it. But yeah, look, that's really all I did with this space. And then I moved into this landing. This is what I meant earlier when I said I don't know how to furnish these areas. If you have any tips, let me know because this is where I construct a bookcase. And I was like, there's enough room for it. They might read. They're an old school family. But yeah, it was really basic. I was like, whatever. Kind of like the master bedroom. All of the entertaining is downstairs. It's just more so a hallway to get to the kids' area, add a couch in, she'll be right. Now I've moved on to the greenhouse. By far, this is my favorite part of the build. I really, really, really enjoyed doing it. I ended up adding in some pot plants in between the gardening. Oh gosh, I don't even know what they're called. Planters? Yeah, gardening, the single planters. And I actually really loved how it looked because it looked like it was, actually a home garden. I was just really happy with it. Not to toot my own horn, but I was really happy with the way how it came out. The cobblestone inside, I wanted it to be a little bit different to outside, but still that, maybe it was a patio and they've closed it in. Like who knows? Add a bit of character to the build. I didn't want it to just be like the same stone as outside, and I didn't want it to be a wood floor. You know what I mean? So I have a little seating area. Your Sims can come out here and have, breakfast or a cup of tea or, one of those things, something like that. They can relax in this space. And then, yeah, here you can see I'm adding in the different plants. I was so glad I got to use this cart. I guess it's a cart, it's not really a wheelbarrow. Yeah, a cart. I just thought it fit perfectly. And then, yeah, I'm adding in all these other little indoor plants. And yeah, I love it. I just think it's so cute. It'll be so fun to play with. And then, yeah, in this little backyard area, I just, added a few things like a barbecue, added a chess table because, I think it's more fun to get your logic skill with the chess table because your Sims can interact while doing it. It's like reading is obviously great, don't get me wrong. A really good way to get your skills up, and like if your sim has, one of those bookworm traits or something like that, really great as well. But there's also that social aspect. Just jumped into game. There's already this random sim living here, so we'll just use her. The garden looks a bit sad. I think it's just because of the season. It must be, maybe it's spring. So if you have seasons installed on your game, the plants will show up a little bit differently just based on what season it is in the surroundings, which is a really neat way to add a bit more to the game. But just ignore that. It actually looks really cute if you don't have seasons installed. Then the study is through here. We will cut through the bathroom just through here so we don't have to go through the whole build again. But yeah, I was really happy with everything turned out. So yeah, I added some extra decor. We got the toilet paper roll, the hand towel, which is lovely. And then yeah, this is the dining room and kitchen. So yeah, absolutely love how this turned out. I think it looks really, really great. And then yeah, through this greenhouse area. Yeah, I love the sliding door. I'm sorry, I know I used custom content, but I just absolutely love how it looks. Yeah, really, really happy with that. And then let's just go straight upstairs to yeah, the teens' bedroom. So here is the teens' bedroom, the first kid's bedroom, and then that bathroom. Look, it's pretty small, but it's doable. It's got a good window, get that natural light in. And then yeah, the second bedroom here as well. I guess technically third bedroom, and then yeah, so we go through these hallways. See what I mean? Like I didn't really furnish them, but I don't think the Sims will mind. And then yeah, so this is the master bedroom. So yeah, look, so it's quite bright compared to the rest of the house, but not bad. And then we've got their bathroom in here as well. So yeah, that is this build. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching the video. Keep an eye out for my next one. If you haven't seen my last video, I'll link that up above. And yeah, see you next time.